Hello everybody, Average Gamer here, and today I wanted to do a video, part 1 of our tutorial series for Supreme Ruler Ultimate, or just Supreme Ruler. So, in this one, it's going to be a quick little video, basically on, as a gamer, as the very first time you're playing this game, what you should do and how you should set up a game. The next video will be a breakdown of all the different buttons you see. Then in the next episode we'll get into each button separately, which will be an episode per. And then on top of that, then maybe we'll start to unpause the game. Get into unit movement, supplies, and things like that. Even get into some wars, hopefully. So, first things first. New player, just about the game, congratulations. You're trying to look at this and go, fuck. You played, get your ass kicked, or you put your country in such economic problems that you can't do anything, and you have to restart, and you googled Supreme Ruler Ultimate Beginner's Guide. Well, here we go. So this is step 1 of how you should, very first time you ever played, set up the game. So I go, so player, preferably you should go to Sandbox, or sorry, not Sandbox, Scenario, and there should be a tutorial mission in here somewhere. That's in there somewhere. Where is it? Center campaign. Tutorial. So you play the tutorial. You play as China, and there's a second tutorial. You play as Ontario. Where you play. Okay. So in this one, basically, what's happening is you're working on building up a military a little bit and preparing for basically to be attacked. It plays a little bit into economy, not too much. But in the end, you get invaded by Japan, and you may or may not get your ass kicked. This one here, tutorial number 2, it's for the 2020 series. Basically, play as my home province, Ontario, and basically what you do is you slowly work on elections and learn how elections work. But this is what you should do. So first time you play, obviously try out those 2 scenarios. Now, when you're ready to play by yourself, this is what you should do. Single player. Sandbox, so you don't have to worry about anything. 1949, so that way the world isn't blowing up around you in any form or fashion. Pick a country that uses a communist government. My go-to is Asia and China, mainly because they're communist. Now, what you should do is set up your scenario settings so that it's pretty much the easiest possible. First thing you're going to do, resources, abundant. Initial funds, high. Approval effects, low. You're going to uncheck critical internal opinion and unclick government change. Put random events to none. Keep electronic sales or electricity sales on. Turn off loyalty penalty, supply and line of sight. Turn off the sphere system and the third-party relations effect. You go to the second option here, which is military settings. It's basically tank with a cog. Keep fog of war on and all this stuff. Pretty much the only thing you want to turn on is eliminate. You want to eliminate units when a region falls. It's money down the road. And you want to turn off weather system and turn off Battle of the Atlantic. Next option is the game settings. Little joystick there with a cog. Keep this to none, and put all these to very easy. You turn on fixed capitals, that way that really doesn't do anything, which is funny. Hot relations, put to none, and then turn these 2 options on here. So you're limiting domestic and military approvals. We'll get into those later, but basically that's how your military looks at you and approves of your government or not, and same for your people. So now, with everything set up, the last thing you want to check is this right here. This is your victory conditions. So you're going to win on victory points, military score, approval score, tech score, economic score, diplomatic score, total score, unification. That's dependent on what game mode you're playing. Basically, it's to unify an entire continent, country, or the world. Capture, because you'll have a capture point. Like say, as China, we're told, okay, you have to capture Taiwan. Capital. That could mean that you have to capture a specific capital in the world. Like playing as Russia, you have to capture, say, London or Berlin or Washington. And then complete is you just have to completely dominate everything. Basically, you just go. Complete has no actual ending. I've never ever actually ended a game in complete. I've gone all the way up to the 3000s, like the year 3000, and never had an end to the game. So there you go. So pick China and hit start. Hit start. There we go. So there you go. So you'll start as China. Now, China will be the country we're going to use mostly as our base, just because it's a lot easier to manipulate and modify and change and all that stuff. And this is where we're going to end this episode. In the next episode, what we're going to do is we're going to go into all these buttons. What all these buttons mean, we'll start at the top left up here. We're going to go all the way down and all the way to the right. We're just talking about what all these do. And then in the episodes after that, we're going to get into what each button does. And all that fun stuff. Now, as I said earlier, we're just going to close this out here. Guide. To get that, you hit escape. Brings it up. Or you can also hit this little button here. It brings it up. But yeah, so it'll also set up things, which we'll get into later on. But, you know, first things first, right? So that's how you can pretty much set up an easy game. By setting up the game like this, it's almost impossible for you to lose. It'll take you a while to obviously play. A couple things I want to say, a couple tips right off the bat. Take your time. Don't rush the game unless you've played it a lot. Sit back, relax. Don't get too nervous or too worried about who your neighbors are and all that stuff. Just play the game as you want to play it. You know, deep breaths, relaxation. Don't worry too much about how, you know, your neighbors are gonna, you know, do long term and things like that. Just remember, you know, you have your own country to worry about. Don't worry about what, you know, the Russians are doing, the Americans are doing, or anything like that. Just play your game as you want to play your country, and it'll turn out fine. A few other things I do want to mention is certain things will take time to get up and moving, like your GDP, for example. That will take a long time to get going, your gross domestic product. That's pretty much how you gauge how good you're doing. Usually if you're better, you know, the highest in the game, that means economically your country is the powerhouse, theoretically. I've had games where, you know, my GDP was 2 to 3 times the amount of the next person in line, and then all of a sudden my economy just collapsed, and I was in billions of dollars in debt, and I couldn't even figure out what the hell happened. So take your time, go step by step by step. Don't rush. I will say this: when you're playing, don't really go past normal for the beginning. Take your time, look at things. We'll get into what you want to do at the beginning of the game and all that stuff. But in the next episode, we're going to look at all these buttons and go over each one separately. So thanks for watching. See you guys next time. Bye-bye.